would say the biggest thing that scares me every single time I host this is that I'm the only one that can hear it, and all you guys see is me doing this stuff. But you guys did hear it, correct? Can I have somebody confirm that?
Yes, sir.
You did. All right, fantastic. That would have been
Yes, sir.
absolutely positively embarrassing. Good
It's
Lord. Hey,
it, if it sounds bad, I'm dating myself. I saw the Go-Go's in 1985.
ah, okay.
What?
Well, I'm going to teach you even harder and say that was the Go-Go's from 1981 from their debut album Beauty and the Beat. And of course, the song was called We Got the Beat. And you know what else we got? Whew, we got a whole bunch of webinars coming up. Good Lord, everybody. Welcome to Toolbox Tuesday. Before we get things kicked off today, I want to remind you that there are 5 Tuesdays in the month of July. What? There's 5 Tuesdays in the month of July. You know what that means? That's right. We're going to do another Toolbox Tuesday next week on July 29th. Our topic next week, we're going to talk about the Clover App Marketplace, and our special guest panelist is going to be John Marshall, who is going to highlight some of his top picks. And as an added bonus, wait, Scott, there's an added bonus? Yeah, you bet there is. As an added bonus, next week, we're going to pull back the curtain. We're going to give all of you a brand new tool for your toolbox. It's called the Clover Visual Reference Guide. As always, if you do not see those invites on your calendar for next week on Tuesday, just reach out to us, sales@paycompass.com, and we'll send that invite over to you so that you can join us next week. During today's session, if you would like, during Toolbox Tuesday, it kind of pops up on our screen here and there that we've got folks on the call that want to use note takers. And you know what? During Toolbox Tuesday, we're totally cool with that. Reason being, some of you do better if you actually have the content in front of you so that you can read it versus going back and watching a recording, and that's okay. So if you're using an AI note taker, by all means, you can do it whenever you want here on Toolbox Tuesday. As a reminder, also, we are recording today's session, and our marketing department, they're going to get that emailed out within probably the next 24 hours or so. So this way you can go back and you can watch the recording. And as always, we do want your questions. You are going to have an opportunity to put questions in the chat, or if you would like, we're going to pause here and there throughout today's session. You can just come right off mute and ask your question to our special guest, who I'm going to introduce here shortly. But as always, I've always got that Pay Compass crew working with me. I've got producer Hind working behind the scenes, keeping an eye on your questions. Hind, happy Tuesday to you, my friend.
Happy Tuesday, everyone.
There we go. Hind is happy because we brought the music back. I've been having issues with the music over the past couple of weeks, and rock on, friends. It came back today. There we go. I
It's a
believe my
must.
It is a must, absolutely. I believe my co-host is also on the call too. Mr. John Marshall, are you on the call with us here today?
I am. Good afternoon or good
There he
morning,
is.
wherever any of you guys are.
And he even tossed up the devil horns too. But all of you know and love John Marshall. My gosh, he used to be a business owner. He used to carry a bag and sell merchant services just like you. And now look at that. He is the voice of technology, and he helps you to close your deals. John, as always, domo arigato for joining today's session, my friend. Always good to see you. Now, let's talk about today's topic. Today's topic is ISO Quote. Some of you call it ISOAmp, but it's a pretty powerful tool that helps you to analyze statements and create proposals for all of your merchants. But you know what? I couldn't do this by myself. No way in heck could I do this by myself. So you know what? I called in an expert. Ladies and gentlemen, representing Team ISOAmp, please give a warm welcome to Khalil Bell. Khalil, where are you, my friend?
I am up here. I don't know if you guys can see me, but I am here.
There you are. We can see you perfectly, man. Thank you for joining us. Khalil, how are you today, my friend?
I am great. I am great. It's been a beautiful day. It's nice and hot outside, so I can't complain.
Absolutely. Well, and the other thing too, friends, maybe I shouldn't be sharing this, but I'm going to share it with you real quick. All of you, we just found out that Khalil just recently became an engaged man, and he's getting married in 2027. Give him a little bit of love. Khalil, congratulations on your recent
Thank you.
engagement,
Thank
my
you,
friend.
guys. Thank you. Thank you. It was definitely a stressful couple of days. Well, last week it was really stressful, but being that I wanted to spend the rest of my life with her, it made it all possible. It was just trying to not have her figure out what was going on, because I had it all planned out for her. So
No, and folks, I can attest, having met with him prior to his engagement, he was a little bit of a nervous wreck. But you know what? Let's talk about ISOAmp, my man. So thank you for joining us here today. I had a good time planning out this session with you. Now, Khalil, what I want to do is just for the benefit for some of our agents that may be new to PayCompass that haven't used ISOAmp or sometimes referred to as ISOQuote before,
Mhm.
could you just, on a very high level, how would you define this or this tool that all of our sales agents can use?
So this tool is pretty much something that's going to help you guys out in the long run. I know some people are, have trouble with reading processing statements or understanding how, the different fees are, listed within the system or within the statement, as well as being able to, see markup and optimization and things of that nature. So this is a tool that's going to help you guys not only be able to read processing statements, but help you compare and contrast what your costs are and your buy rates to what they're currently paying. So you can actually see the amount of savings there, as well as give them a proposal. So everything is going to be, done for you. So it's not as, complicated for you guys in the process. So.
Yeah, and Khalil, I would say probably one of the bigger benefits, for the most part, it's an assumption
Yep.
that all of our agents will upload a statement and the magic of AI working in the background gets it resolved. But probably one of the bigger benefits is that there are some instances where there's live human beings on the back end that can assist our agents, correct?
Yes, sir. We do have 4 analysts who work in office. They are top notch. We do about 5,000 statements a month. So when we say that it goes to human review, we really mean it goes to a human eye to be able to review these things for you guys and make sure everything is 100% accurate. So.
Yeah. All right, so let's just kind of dive into it. I mean, back when I started in the industry and back when my co-host John started in the industry, John Marshall, you there, friend?
I'm here.
Do you remember the good old days when we didn't have AI tools to just kind of review these statements? John, what did that process look like, brother?
Got the AI was right up here. Right up
Was
in
it?
We had to memorize it or look it up or get a hand calculator, right? It was all a manual ordeal.
It was a manual ordeal. And I can see some of the other agents that are on the call that I've worked with historically. You guys remember back in the days. Sometimes we used to do these things in Excel spreadsheets just to do the calculations and the basis points just to try to find, oh my God, it would drive you nuts. So Khalil, let me kick it back over to you, man. What I want to do is I want you to just kind of espouse the benefits of using ISOAmp. What are the like some, other than using the AI up here, as John mentioned, what are some of the other benefits that our agents should know when it comes to ISOAmp?
The other, some of the cool benefits is this is one of those things where we get things back to you in a timely manner. So being able to upload a statement and getting it back, if it's fully automated within 3 to 15 seconds, or if it's going to go to human review within 2 to 5 minutes, we give you that ability to say, okay, well, we can upload a statement now and we'll get it back to you same day. Another thing with the human analyst is being able to get those statements in before 4 p.m. Eastern. Typically after that, statements that are submitted after 4 p.m. will be done in priority for the next business morning. But if you get your statements in before 4 p.m., everything's going to get back to you within the same day. Another benefit is, being able to actually pinpoint out all of the interchange optimizations or any padding or markup within the interchange, something that the human eye can't really see. And, sometimes, our math is a little off with that. Being able to go in our system and actually have those listed out for you by card brand and transaction type. So you can actually see what the current cost is, what the true cost is, being able to see what the interchange is and everything else. So it's going to be very, very beneficial for you guys because this thing just pretty much does everything for you. And it does all the math for you. So you don't have to do anything other than just upload the statement within the system.
Yeah. And before we continue on here, Khalil, because I do have some more questions that I want to throw over to you. Sales agents, I saw that we're starting to get some questions into the chat. Fantastic. That's exactly what we want. So team, what I want you to do is, as we're going through some of this content, as we're having our conversation with Khalil, start thinking of some of those questions. You all use ISOAmp every single day. There's got to be times when you're sitting there going, man, oh man, I'd really love to get this question out there. Put it in the chat, or also know that we're going to break at specific times during today's session. Then you can come right off mute and you can ask your question. Another thing I want to point out to you, the audience, very quickly. When we were planning out this session, one of the first things we thought is, hey, Khalil, wouldn't it be great if you did like a live demo and uploaded a statement and everything else? And then we sat there and we kind of thought about it. We said, you know what? Maybe rather than going through that process, what's going to happen a little bit later on is Khalil is actually going to pull up ISOAmp. And you, sales agent, this is going to be your opportunity to say, hey, can ISOAmp do this? Can you show me how to do that? So rather than go through a full-blown demonstration, I'm going to hand over the screen to Khalil a little bit later on. He'll get ISOAmp pulled up, and he's just going to kind of show out some of the key features that you really should be paying attention to. But at that time, when he's got that portal pulled up, that's your opportunity to say, hey, while that portal is pulled up, show me how to do this. Is it able to do this? Let's make sure that we get those questions out there. I know there was Brandon who was on our call with us. He threw out a question earlier today. Brandon, make sure you're on standby because we want to get your question out there in front of Khalil as well. Khalil, let me just jump back over to you, my friends, as we talk this through a little bit more. So some of the benefits that you talked about, uploading the statements, finding the savings, everything else. Just going off some of my notes that I've got over here, categorizing and analyzing interchange fees. So it helps to optimize with the pricing strategies for our sales agents. Can you kind of expand upon that a little bit?
Yeah, so when it comes to interchange, not a lot of people realize that interchange rates do change. And with the way that our system works, when we look at a statement, we actually, when you upload a statement within the system, we actually match those to the correct interchange types. Now, our interchange rates are updated twice a year, April and October, when everyone else updates their interchange rates. So all of our interchange rates are up to date. So when you go into the system and you see that interchange analysis tab, and when you're looking into that interchange table, you will see the updated interchange rates and what actually the transactions are matched to the correct interchange type.
Another key piece I wanted to throw out here too, and I think this is probably the biggest benefit, identifying those padded fees. So it gives our agents an opportunity to have that conversation. What generally happens with that when they identify those padded fees? Is it an opportunity for the agent to go back saying, look, your current merchant service provider told you that, they've got you quoted at this percentage, but sometimes identifying those padded fees allows them to kind of expand upon, not only expand upon, but just kind of expose, hey, you know what? They didn't really say on what they told you they were going to say on. What are your thoughts on that, Khalil?
Yeah, so being able to actually go into the statement and say, okay, well, if they quoted you on this and didn't really tell you, on the back end that they're going to be, padding or marking up some of these fees, you have the ability to go in and say, okay, well, based off of this, I can go into my interchange analysis tab. We can see all of the, the correct interchange types with the transaction. Typically in our system, everything that's padded or marked up is going to be like yellow. It's going to be like a yellowish color. You're going to be yellow boxes. Anything that is not is going to be like a white. But then this will give you the opportunity to say, well, they're padding you up, they're marking you up 12 basis points, 60 basis points, if there's some significant padding or markup, and then with the ability to actually apply that to the proposal, spitting out a detailed proposal, showing you the optimizations, showing you the padding, showing what the true cost is and what they're currently paying and what the total savings is with that. Based off of that, they'll have the ability to do that within the system for sure.
All right. And Khalil, watch this. I'm actually going to throw it out to the audience. All right. So if I could find a brave agent to come off mute, let me throw this out there to you. You analyze the statement. You identified that there's padded fees in there. What does that conversation look like with the merchant? How do you break the news to them that you've identified padded fees in there so that, rather than kind of put them on the defensive where they're saying, oh, well, are you telling me that I'm wrong? So let's see if we can find an agent. Share that. Let's see if we can get somebody to come off mute.
Like, what do you want me to say? That you're being screwed? That's basically what it comes down to. You go, oh, by the way, you shouldn't have to babysit. That's how I phrase it. I go, here's what you shouldn't have to do. You shouldn't have to babysit your processor and watch every single thing that they do. They should just do things the normal way, or the honest way, the transparent way. That's basically what I say, because you don't want to basically tell the person that they've been taken advantage of, because no one wants to be taken advantage of. But I also say what happens is that over time, your processor does rate creep, is what I use as a term I use. That they slowly inch up your rate a little bit at a time, and then you don't. It's so subtle that you don't notice it. That you notice that it's, well, I originally I'm at 2.4, and then all of a sudden I'm at 2.5, and then I'm at 2.6, and then all of a sudden I'm at 2.8, And over time, that just seems to be the norm. I do the math and da 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 until they go back and go, hey, 6 months ago I was at 2.4. Why am I at 3.1? I literally had a guy when I said, "Oh, I'm only 1% over cost," and then I, do the math and I show it to him and I go, "Well, you're actually 1.8," and I think the direct quote was, "Huh." And then then I think the follow up was those insert expletive, and we all know what that begins with.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's an F and an R at the beginning and end. So yeah,
Yep.
that's what you just try to do. You don't try to insult them, but you just want to expose what their current vendor is doing to them.
And that's a great example. And a matter of fact, Cliff, I'm actually going to steal that term that you used, rate creep, where it's actually creeping up and everything else. But Cliff, you actually made a really good point on that. I mean, it's a good approach to take with a merchant where, you're basically saying to them, look, you sign up for merchant services because it is a necessity for your business. However, you shouldn't have to babysit. You shouldn't have to consistently monitor it. You should be focusing on every facet of your business from front of house to back of house without having to worry about that rate creep. So Cliff, thank you for sharing that, my man. I do appreciate it. And you too, sir, get a domo arigato. Thank you, my man. Khalil, let me kick it back over to you, my friend. This was an interesting one that you threw at us to get our agents to think about ISOAmp a little bit differently. So for the most part, we covered the basics. We said upload the statements, find the savings, create a proposal. It seems like everybody kind of looks at it from that perspective, but you dropped some knowledge on me that I thought was pretty cool. Having our agents look at ISOAmp as, and I'm using your quote here, using it as basically a CRM for their business information management, doing a little bit of task tracking and doing a little bit of file management. So basically just kind of keeping them on task as far as who they've quoted for and things along those lines, correct?
Yes, sir. Yeah. In our system, we do have a prospects tab. That prospects tab is going to consist of the statement that you've uploaded. We do put the proposals in there as well as the files that you've uploaded, so you'll actually have the ability to see those or revert back to them if you need to. And then the information where we, put the sales agent in there, and then you can quote, put what stage they're in. If they're quoted, they're closed, they're in progress, and things of that nature. You can put their information, years in business. You can put their phone number, their contact information. And I like to let people know that our system is secure. So if you were to delete these statements out of the system, we cannot see those at all unless you re-upload those statements within the system. I like to, really, really, speak heavy on that because a lot of people are, asking about security and, who can see what within the system based off of, the portals. And pretty much you can only see what you've uploaded, and we can't see anything if you delete it. But yes, we do have a little CRM thing to where you can actually put tasks in here, put any notes in there for you, to let you guys, have better, accountability and, making sure you have tasks, to get these, deals done, in the process for you guys.
And I wanted to make sure that we did call that out. For the most part, friends, we invest a lot of time in you, the sales agent. We love you. You guys kill it consistently every single week. You're out there pulling doors. It's a hard grind. So any and all tools that we provide to you, we want to make sure that you take full advantage of all those tools so this way that you know what's available to you. Khalil, I want to just kind of drill down on something that you said. You said uploading statements, and that just popped into my head. Let's talk about the type of file formats that can be uploaded into ISOAmp, because I know that there's been a little bit of discrepancy. Gosh, can I upload it if it's in this format? Can I do this format? What are the formats that ISOAmp will accept when it comes to statements? Go ahead.
Yeah, so there's Excel sheets. With Excel sheets, we want to make sure that you also do have those split up. I know some statements on Excel sheets will put, 3 to 4 months listed on there. And our system, our system will do is it'll try to read all of those as if it's one statement. So with Excel sheets, if you have those split up by months, it makes it easier not only for our AI but our human analysts, because what they'll do is if there's more than a month or 2 months on the statement, we would actually have to continue to do the math and break it down by months for you to let you know that, hey, these are 3 to 4 separate different months. You can do CSVs in our system. You can do PDFs. And I'm pretty sure that's pretty much it. And then JPEGs as well. I believe our system does allow you to upload JPEGs, but PDFs, CSVs, and Excel are the 3 main, formats that we would like for you guys to upload the statements in. So.
Just to expand upon it, when you said Excel by month, and I understand what you meant when you said sometimes there'll be like 4 months worth of information all within one tab. What's the best practice? Is it best to break them out by individual tabs? So like tab 1 is July, tab 2 is August. Is that how we do that with the Excel?
Yeah, or if you're going to break them up, make them completely different workbooks, because with the way that our system works, we're analyzing each month individually. And that's what's going to give you the full detailed analysis and the full detailed breakdown. So if you wanted to physically, either you can do the tabs where you're splitting them up in between tabs, but if you want to actually make them their own separate, little workbook within Excel, that'll be great as well, because then we can actually, read the statement by month.
Okay. So just to be clear also, no Word documents, no PNGs, correct? It sounds like
Correct.
these are the 4 formats that we need the most.
Yep, correct.
Okay, excellent. All right, let's dig in a little bit in regards to pricing models. So what pricing models does ISOAmp work with?
All sorts, tiered programs, Interchange Plus, surcharge, flat rate, dual pricing, cash discounting, card present, card not present. Those are the main ones that we support within our system, and those are the main ones that you guys are probably going to be using anyway. So,
Okay, so tiered, interchange, card present. What were the other ones that you rattled off there, my friend?
flat rate, surcharge, dual pricing, cash discounting, things of that nature.
Okay, got it. Let me throw this one out there to you, because I know this comes up a lot, especially for a lot of our friends on the call that go after those B2B opportunities. What can we do with level 2 and level 3 when it comes to ISOAmp?
Yeah, so ISOAmp automatically does everything with level 2 and level 3 in the interchange table. So everything is going to be extracted directly from the interchange. So if anything needs to go to level 2 or level 3, you would see that within the Interchange Analysis tab. And if you want to put it on level 2 and level 3 on our optimization side of things, you would have the ability to actually change the interchange category or the interchange type within the system. So there is a way to actually see level 2 and level 3 actually within the Interchange Analysis tab.
All right, so let me throw this one at you, and I don't think it's too much of a curveball, and if it is, you can just turn your camera off and be like, I'm done, Scott, you're silly, get out of here. What should our agents do if they actually get a statement that's not in one of the correct formats? Is there a way to work around that? Is there a pro tip that you can provide to them?
Yeah, so what I like to do is if it's not in the correct format, I usually just go to freeconvert.com. And from there, when you upload a file into the system, it actually has all of the things that you can convert it to. And it literally takes 10, 15 seconds to actually convert it to that. And you can download it and then resubmit it into the system. So it's not too tough. Freeconvert.com is free to everyone. You can upload as many things as you want into FreeConvert. And it's one of those things that I use heavily, especially like when doing logos and things of that nature, because most people don't put them in the correct format and have to convert it to the correct format. So if you guys go to freeconvert.com, just drag your file in there, and actually there's a little tab that says, convert to, PDF, Excel, Word document, PNG, JPEG, things of that nature.
All right. And for everybody's benefit, I will type that into the chat, freeconvert.com. So this way all of you can copy it, paste it, put it in your favorite web browser, bookmark it, do whatever you need to do. Because I know there are instances where some of you wind up getting something in a format and you're like, oh my gosh, what do I do? Don't panic. We want to make sure that we got you covered. Khalil, good Lord, man, we've been talking for 25 minutes. What do you think? Take some questions from the audience?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I did see one in the chat already from, I don't know how to pronounce, I don't want to, pronounce his name wrong, but is it Shirag?
Would that be Shirag, correct.
Shirag? Okay, yeah. So he said in the chat, do you have the ability to take Stripe reports and generate quotes? Yes. So our system will read Stripe reports and statements, and we will give you all of the accurate information based on what is provided in the Stripe statement.
Excellent.
Can I jump in? Khalil, can I jump in?
Please.
Yeah.
This might be a great segue to talk about those assumptions that sit on top of the Stripe statement, right? Because Stripe is a flat rate statement. So we really don't know what cards are being presented. Can you talk a little bit about the assumptions and maybe how the seller and agents can adjust those assumptions?
Yeah, so in our system, we do give you an assumptions tab. So we look at it to where, you have your regulated debit, you have your regulated signature debit, you have your card present, card not present, you have your PIN debit, you have your B2B transactions. You will have the ability in our system, when you go to menu and down to assumptions, based off of there's no interchange table, because technically everything, with the assumptions are going to come extract directly from the interchange table. You have the ability to say, okay, well, 50% of this is regulated debit. Out of that regulated debit, 35% is going to be signature debit. And then, 28% is going to be B2B, 15% is going to be card present, card not present. 25% is going to be PIN debit. So at that point, you do have the ability to actually go into the system and actually change those assumptions based off of, those stripe statements, especially when they don't have those written down on there for you.
John, I was waiting for a follow-up. You left me hanging. Worsh. Okay.
But he was so clear, there was nowhere to go. It was all
I've worked with you for so long. I'm sitting here going, and the follow-up and the pitch, and I'm like, all
well,
right.
I mean,
well,
and Khalil, so you could say, this also applies to like tiered statements. I mean, all those things where they lump them into baskets and we don't really have the granular interchange. We're always going to be making assumptions, right? So
Right.
there is a little bit of rolling the dice. And based on your geographic area, that mix of credit to debit, card number, all that stuff is stuff where we kind of lean back to you, the agents, to tweak that. But it comes with pre-built assumptions. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, so like when you're in the system and there's no interchange table and you look at the assumptions, you'll see that there's like little, highlighted, numbers already in there. So those are pretty much saying, okay, based off of the statement, these what we think the assumptions are. And then you can actually go in and edit those yourself, save it, and then the statement in the proposal will actually change based off of those assumptions.
Well, and you can see where I'm leading this, right? Is when you upload that statement, you have an option to add the MCC or not.
Mm-hmm.
So with a stripe that's, flat rate or square or tiered, tell us how adding the MCC can actually help tweak those assumptions in your favor versus leaving that blank.
Yeah, so the way the MCCs work in our system is, different industry have different interchange types. The way that the MCC codes work in our system is if you know that there is no interchange table on the statement and you actually list the MCC code with it, we will try to give you an estimate based off of those MCC codes. So the interchange, the Amex Op Blue, the card brand fees are all going to be estimates based off of that NCC code to give you a little bit more of an accurate reading off, straight from the industry type.
Perfect. All right, Scott, I think you wore me out.
All right, quick question.
Go ahead, please.
Now, will our wonderful friends at WorldPay, where they will always blend and pad interchange, can it decipher that on your tool? Because that's what they're notorious for. They put, it's mild, but they'll put a few basis points here, there into their interchange and then hide their markups.
Yeah, so our system can pick all of that up. As soon as you upload the statement within the system, our system will actually automatically match it to the correct interchange type. Now, if we see that the transactions, they're the merchant's paying, 2.5 and 10 cents, and the transaction, the actual true cost is 2.1 and 5 cents, our system will actually pick that up and show you that there's some padding or markup within that interchange. So that's all going to be within the Interchange Analysis tab.
Sales agents, I'm going to throw it back over to you. Whatever questions you've got, come off mute. Now's a great time. And we do
I
have
do
another
see one in
question.
the chat.
I do see one in the chat, so let me throw it out there to you. The question being thrown out to you, Khalil, do you have API access for individual agents to work with their AI workflow systems?
So API stuff. So if you would actually go to getisoamp.com, you can actually click on our developers tab and our API is all listed right in there. So there's all the codes in there, everything you're going to need to actually integrate with whatever you need to use it for sure.
All right, look at that. Another URL I got to put into the chat. Sorry, friends, I'll get that out there to you. The first one you threw out there was that free convert, so we can convert any file format so
Yep,
things can be uploaded. And you're saying go to getisoamp.com,
yep.
and that's where they can dig in with the API connections, correct?
Correct. Yeah. So they'll go to getisoamp.com and then there's a developers tab. When you click on that developers tab, it'll redirect you to our whole API system and all of the codes and everything else for it.
Okay. Friends, I will put that in the chat for you momentarily. Throwing it back over to you. Team, what questions do you have before we continue on with today's session? Come right off mute, throw it right in the chat.
Hey, is Pay Compass being charged per upload that we do, or do we get like each agent has like a monthly fee? How does that work?
For the
So
most, go ahead.
yeah. So Pay Compass, I believe, is getting charged monthly, but the agents, I'm guessing, I don't know if you guys are doing it to where you're giving each person or each agent a specific number of statements they can upload. But I do know that they have just a number of uploads on a monthly basis. But yeah, I'm pretty sure they're just being charged monthly for that. I don't think the agents
Yeah.
have to pay for that.
Yeah, I would be hard pressed to believe that the agents are being charged for that. I could be misspeaking. If any one of my colleagues on the back end from the Tempe office can answer that question, go ahead, throw it in the chat. Let's make sure we get an answer on that. But for the most part, I believe that we are picking up the tab on that. All right. What other questions do we have, agents, before we continue on?
So Scott, I'll throw a question in there that could be something that everybody is itching to know. And Khalid, we talked about this a week ago or so, how I can upload a statement and I can actually present the merchant with, hey, here's what IC Plus looks like. Here's what a surcharge looks like. Here's what a cash discount looks like. So it's not if you are interested, it's which one do you want to move forward with, right? So I love the fact that you can start with that same core upload, and I can do a couple what if scenarios and have all of those sort of in my bag ready to pull out if the one I present gets some pushback. And so talk about what you talked about a week ago, and that was the less is more theory, right? Go in with fewer decisions, but have those backup plans ready to rock.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. To back off that, yeah, you always want to give that merchant, not a no option, but here's which one you're going to choose at this point. The way that works in our system is when you upload a statement, you put on a specific program. You can either you can clone that actual statement within the proposal by clicking on menu and clone, and then you can actually change the program of the clone. Or what you can do is you can just keep that one statement within the system and just rechange the programs. And when you change the programs, the proposal templates would automatically update based off of those programs that you're putting them on. So if you wanted to see an Interchange Plus program, you'll put on an Interchange program, click menu, go to change template. You can download that side by side, print it out, label it IC Plus, and then you can go back into the system, menu, change program, put it on a dual pricing. Here's what it's going to look like with dual pricing. Same scenario, and then you come back out of it, change program. You can put on surcharge. Well, hey, here's what the surcharge is going to look like. So you do have the ability within the system to do that and not have to re-upload, the same statement. So it's counting towards the count of statements. And I like to let everyone know that because I get that question asked a lot. Hey, if I want to see more than one program, do I have to, upload 3 different statements that's going to go against, my statement count? No. All you have to do is upload that one statement and then just change the program to what you wanted, and you actually will be able to see all 3 different programs with that one statement.
Yeah, and that's definitely a good way to go about it, is to be prepared for any scenario to which, have those different statements at the ready. Less is more. But as John said, if you do get that pushback on that, all right, well, guess what? I got another option for you. So tell you what, Khalil, I actually just made you a co-host. Safe to assume you've got your portal ready to go, correct, my friend?
Absolutely.
All right, while you're pulling that up, you, the audience, well, guess what? We got an answer from our newest Assistant Director of Sales Operation, Bree Linder. Did you guys see the email this morning? Bree got promoted to Assistant Director of Sales Operations. Bree, congratulations. We are all proud of you. But Bree threw an answer into the chat in regards to who picks up the bill when it comes to ISOAmp. Direct from Bree Linder, Assistant Director of Sales Operations. Her response was, Pay Compass will be charged for every single upload, not the agent. So look at that, agents. You guys have got free range. You can upload as many statements as you want. We take care of the cost because we love you, want to take care of you. Bree, you're going to get one of these. Domo arigato. Thank you, Bree. Appreciate it, my friend. Thank you.
Now, is there an app that you go to for an iPad or iPhone, or is it all web-based?
So it is all web-based, but it is mobile friendly.
And Scott, if I'm not wrong, you can launch that directly from the Navigo account. Isn't that correct?
You can, correct. So for those, matter of fact, let's get this out there for some of our agents that may be brand new to Pay Compass. When you log into Navigo and you look at that top navigation at the top, you're going to see a logo right there at the very top that says ISOAmp. You give that a click and it's going to open up that portal for you, and boom goes the dynamite. That's where you can upload your statements, and that's where you can start the analysis. Khalil, do you have your account set up, my friend, to share with everybody on this call today?
Yes, I do.
All right, why don't you get it pulled up? Agents, this is all about you. So like I said, rather than go through an entire demonstration, hey, this is us uploading a statement and everything else, start thinking about it. What are some of the questions that you've had when you've used it? And let's get them in front of our expert while we got him front and center with us. I can see your screen, my friend. Perfect.
Alrighty.
And Khalil, if I can interrupt too,
Yeah.
point out, would you, for me, all of those training videos, if I'm not familiar with, again, these different templates, the different formats, the plans, you've got a boatload of resources to help get that under my belt if I want
Yeah,
to explore.
absolutely. So we do have, I don't know if Pay Compass has the white label training or not, but we do have the white label training for you guys. If not, I will go ahead and throw in the ISOAmp training videos, as well as the how to read a processing statement and the advanced statement analysis. But typically, if you do have training and you're assigned to some training, all you would do is go to this training tab up here. And then we do give you the ability to show you some of the different things. Like here's the ISOAmp training, how to read a processing statement. There is another advanced statement analysis training in here as well. Let me see if I can find it here. There's so many training courses within this. Where is it? Advanced statement analysis down here. So we will have the ability to actually give you this training, as well as so you can go into the system, read on how to actually use the system, learn about interchange, learn about Amex, Blue, all the interchange fees and everything else. So we do have that training in here for you guys. And then also we do have a help video library as well. You should see when you log in sometimes there's going to be like a little green help button at the bottom right hand of your screen. When you click on that and actually type in what you're looking to do, typically you'll see a video, a description, and someone actually explaining to you how to do what you need to do within the system as well.
All right, Khalil, since you've got your account pulled up, I'm going to kick it over to our agents and say, what are some of those questions that you have so that Khalil can guide you, show you how to do things. Let's start to get some of those questions out there. I've got the chat opened up, or if you would like, just come right off mute and let's get those questions out there while we've got our expert on the call today.
Khalil, while we're waiting, can you pull up a statement and show how some of the padded interchange is shown in yellow and it's kind of highlighted? So it actually points out where there's potential savings and how you might apply that.
Yeah, absolutely. So when you are in the back end, after you upload a statement, put a program on, this is typically the screen that you'll be on. Down here, you'll see that interchange analysis tab. When you click show here, this is where it's going to show you everything that's padded or marked up. So anything that's going to be in the yellow boxes is going to show you markup. Anything that's going to be in white boxes is going to be showing you that it's correct to the, it's matched to the correct interchange type. And no, there's no markup there. So yeah, when you're coming into that, when you come into this, in the interchange analysis tab, this is where it's going to show you all of the padded markup, within the interchange.
So there's
I'll
some
tell you what,
substantial savings in those examples.
Right. Exactly. So like for instance, this, product one card not present for Visa, they're charged $465 on one transaction, 346 basis points, 32 cents. To where the true cost is, this business product one credit spend tier two at 280 basis points and 10 cents. So, there's some significant markup there.
I'll tell you what, Khalil, since you just pulled it up on the screen and you're showing everybody where they can identify this, let's set it up as kind of like a tutorial. How did you get to this page? If we just did a statement and everything else, just a quick walkthrough. I went here, I clicked here. This is how I found it. Go ahead and show it, please.
All right. So once you guys have physically uploaded the statement within the system, you put it on a specific program, you'll see this screen here. This will show you the current monthly fees and the effective rate, the proposed monthly fees and the effective rate, the monthly savings and things of that nature. So when you scroll down on this screen here, you'll see that there's a program features and the interchange analysis tab. This interchange analysis tab is going to, when you click show, this is where it's going to show you all the padded or marked up interchange rates and things of that nature.
All right. And the reason I asked you to do that, and thank you for being accommodating, my friend, but the reason I did that, friends, this is being recorded. So after we're done today, if you want to dive into some of these tips and tricks that we're showing to you today, I want to make sure that you understand how to navigate to get to these sections. Khalil, tell you what, let's go back to that previous screen.
Yeah.
Very quickly here. What is that slider at the very top? What's the benefit of that? What is that thing?
So this is going to, this slide bar is a ballpark tool. So this is going to show you how much profit margin you have to work with. And typically a lot of people like to use this because it takes the math away. So for instance, in this sense, we have 8 basis points of margin, right? Sliding it over to the left, closer to 0, you're going to get more of a residual based off of that. Sliding it more to the right, giving them more of a savings is going to, reduce your residual, but you're going to give them more of a savings. So when we slide this over to the left here, let's say we want to save them 66 bucks. Not only did this change the savings, but this also changes your proposed rates. So you're not having to do the math on how many basis points is going to be based off the savings. So this slide bar tool is to help you guys, take the math out of the equation. So then you can actually see what your proposed rates are going to be based off the savings. So now if we wanted to save them, 2,200 bucks, let's say in that sense, now you can see that these proposed rates will automatically change. Another thing I like to point out is these rates here are all interchangeable. So if you wanted to edit, line item by line item, you have the ability to do that within the system. So if you wanted to charge 50 basis points, you would just come in here and put 0.5. You have the ability to physically do that here within the system as well. Now, I will tell you, depending on the Schedule A and everything else and what the minimums and things of that nature that Pay Compass, has it at, you will have the ability to change that, but you're not going to be able to go anything below their minimum unless you get permission by the admin to do that. So if you're trying to go below minimums or below cost, I should say, make sure you reach out to your admins and say, hey, is there a way that, I need to close this deal? Is there a way that I can go, to 3 cents, rather than the 5 cents that we, the cost is and things of that nature. So I like to point that out there because a lot of people come to us saying, hey, how do you lower the cost? It's not letting me lower the cost. It's, well, you're an agent and you have to get specific permissions from the admin to actually be able to lower those costs.
And I believe on an administrative level, if you did need that assistance, I believe you would be sending that over to sales@paycompass.com. If I can have one of my Tempe team members confirm that and throw it into the chat, in those kind of scenarios, that would be great. What I want to do too, John, you said something pretty cool earlier. We were talking about the assumptions tab. John, very quickly, just kind of define, what were you talking about with assumptions again?
Well, there's a lot of moving parts, right? So regulated debit has a different pass-through cost than consumer credit, and Amex is different than Visa and MasterCard, and they have different, Amex has different tiers based on the transaction size. So there's a lot of moving pieces. So those are kind of the assumptions. But yes, I mean, if you have a Stripe account, you don't know if it's 50-50 debit to credit. You don't know if credit is 75% of those transactions. So how to allocate, even though Khalil has the actual interchange, again, for some of those tiered and flat rate statements, we have to still make assumptions. Well, this is a higher average ticket place, so I'm going to say 75% might be credit and only 25% debit. So Khalil, can you show us where would we adjust some of those assumptions?
Yeah, so when you go up to menu here, you'll go down to assumptions. When you click on that, this is where you'll be able to do that. Obviously, this statement here has an interchange table. So it's going to be extracted directly from the interchange table. But I will show you. So if this doesn't have an interchange table here, let's see here. Let's go to this one here. If it won't have an interchange table, when you go to the assumptions, you'll see a screen like this where it says, okay, well, based off of the information without the interchange table, we can predict that 67.1 is going to come from, signature debit, and 85% of that is going to come from regulated signature debit, things of that nature. Now, you do have the ability when there's no interchange table to say, okay, well, 50% is coming from signature debit. We're going to say of that 50%, we're going to say, let's say 36% of it is coming from regulated signature debit. B2B, we're going to put at 5%, and then card present, card not present, we'll put at 8%. So you have the ability to do that. And if you want to put in some PIN debit assumptions, so we're going to, based off of, the regulated signature debit, we're going to say 15% of that is coming from regulated PIN debit. When you hit save there, everything is going to change based off of those assumptions.
So that raises another interesting topic, and we talked about this a week ago, and that is, like, if I was to move everybody off of PIN debit for signature debit only, right? Maybe I want to keep the line moving faster. They don't have SNAP requirements or anything like that. I could actually change the PIN debit to 0 and see what the effect would be on their savings and their pricing, which I think is really cool.
Yep.
Very quickly, just to show you how much the sales agent, how much does the Tempe team love you? Not only did the director of sales operations answer in the chat, but our newest assistant director of sales operation was right behind putting an answer out there. So going back to that question, as far as reaching out to the admin, Jeannie Reese threw it out there. Yes, you would reach out to sales@paycompass.com, and Bree Linder, boom, brought it all home and provided the email address right in the chat to you two. Thank you very much. Do appreciate it. Khalil, this was something I believe we talked about with working in ISOAmp, the ability to create a proposal when we don't have a statement. Is that possible?
Yeah, absolutely. So when you go to quote here, let me see. When you go to quote here, instead of actually uploading that system or dragging and dropping that file within the system for it to actually, upload and, you analyze it there, you can actually create a proposal manually. Doing so here, these are for those things where, you have quick savings estimates to where, let's say the agent, or the merchant doesn't want to give you a full statement, but they say, I'm a full service restaurant. I do around, 200,000 on a monthly basis with volume on about 600 transactions. So typically from here, we give you the average ticket size with that. And then when you hit create, what this will do is it'll bring you back to your programs. And then you could just put it on a specific program that you want to put it on. Let's go surcharge, for instance. And then based off of that, because we don't have the monthly fees, we can say, okay, well, hey, your proposed monthly fees is going to be this. We don't know how much you're paying, but if you switch over to us, you could be paying $900. If you're over $1,000, this could be, a potential savings for you. Now, if you do have the total fees in here, I like to let people know that, hey, you can edit this statement if you would like. By doing so with those, manual proposals, you'll go to menu and then you'll hit edit statement. From here, you can actually add fees. So if, in reality, if they don't give you the fees right then and there, and, they wait a couple of days to give you a fee based off of the savings that you're giving them, you can say, okay, well, we're going to say this is total fees. You can add that section. Now you can add the name, total fees. And then we can actually make this, fee type a all cards volume. There we go. Then you can put this at, whatever you wanted to put it at. And then from here, hit add. Now from here, when you go back to the proposal, you're going to see that those total fees come up as 1,000 on all cards volume. So you have the ability to go into the system and actually edit fees. You can add fees and things of that nature within the system. Now, the other way to do it is when you go to this manual proposal, if they do give you a full statement, when you click on the full service, if it's a full service restaurant, wherever it is, you actually can go into this advanced mode. And from here, you can actually put the name of the merchant, what the total fees is. You can actually list out the merchant activity yourself. And then when you do so, let's say, for instance, the total fees is $6,500. When you put those total fees in, it'll come down here as miscellaneous fees. And then you have the ability to go in and actually update these fee types and say, okay, well, this is a monthly fee. This is coming from VMD Interchange. This is a, a card brand fee. This is, VMD volume, a VMD per item, things of that nature. So you have the ability to actually do that within the system as well.
And then, of course, you've got the fantastic formatting to print out and present to the customer.
Absolutely. And then the way that looks is when we go to prospects, let's go to this one, and you want to actually give a proposal when you're putting them on. I like to let people know that the side by side, and here, this is a big one, because I get this a lot. Side by sides are used for apples to apples comparisons. I get a lot of times that people are trying to take someone from an interchange and put them on a surcharge program, and then they pick a side by side and they're not seeing all of the fees listed, or they're not seeing that credit being surcharged. Basically, if you're going to take them from one program to another, the basic is going to be the best way to go, because it's only showing them what they're going to be paying in fees, and it'll show them what their current fees are and what their proposed fees are. Side by sides are used for apples to apples. So if you're putting them on an Interchange Plus program and they already are on one, but you're trying to give them better rates and savings, you have the ability to do that with the side by side. The detail and the detail with cash discounting, obviously the detail with cash discounting is you're going to put that cash discount in there, shows you the traditional savings and the savings with cash discounting, but the detail will also list out those interchange padding and optimizations as well. But when it comes to, doing these, like for instance, this one's going to be on a surcharge. We would only like to show the actual, basics, so then they actually see what they're paying, and then what they're currently paying, what the pass-through fees are and everything else, rather than that side by side, because things can get confusing.
All right. As a reminder, audience, I'm looking at the clock. I see we got about 7 minutes left, but you've got the man, the myth, the legend from ISOAmp himself, Khalil Bell, who's got his account pulled up. Friends, let's get those questions out there while you've got the man on the call with us.
You need the Jeopardy music playing, Scott.
I know. The thing is, John and I have worked together long enough. He knows that I struggle with silence.
Honestly, if there's anything you guys would like to see, please don't hesitate to ask, because this is what I'm here for. I'm here to help you guys. And then, yes, you guys can always reach out to me on a personal level if you want to reach out to me via email, khalil@getisoamp.com, or you can reach out to our support at support@getisoamp.com. But to be able to have me on and actually do live demonstrations of this it's not only benefiting me, but it's benefiting you guys in the long haul, because I'm able to teach you guys how to do it while I'm on call. Scott, I guess everyone's the ISOAmp experts,
Well, it was one of those things where we wanted to throw it out there to make sure they had an opportunity. So tell you what, audience, you're being a little shy today, but that's okay. It's Tuesday. So give it some more thought. What other questions you've got while we've got our guest on the call for the next 5 minutes? Khalil, let's go back to the comment that we made earlier about utilizing ISOAmp as a CRM. I look at the very top and I see that part that says prospects right there. Just kind of give a little bit of an overview of that. What is located in there? How can our agents use that prospect section effectively?
Absolutely. So when we click on prospects here, this will actually list out all of the statements you've uploaded within the system, all the way down to, a statement that you've uploaded 30 days ago. So, this is going to give you the ability to have all of your statements in one area. So you can actually revert back and see, some different programs on different statements, not only from statements that you've recently uploaded, but statements you've done in the past. So that, say some time is coming up and they want to rechange their, you want to rechange the direction of a merchant or put them on a different program, you can actually show them the savings based off of that. When we go into here, when you click in the details here, this is where the CRM thing kind of comes into play. Obviously, you can see here your proposal. So this is where your statements are when you put them on a program. So this is where you can click in to actually see what, the back end things, the effective rates, what they're currently paying in fees, et cetera. Down here in the files, this is obviously the statement that you've uploaded within the system. I like to let people know as well, this combine button here, this will allow you to actually upload more than one statement within the system. And actually you can combine those and get averages. So we would actually combine these, give you an average based off of both statements, as well as list out each statement in a side by side. So you have the ability to do that as well. Information over here, this is your, your CRM. You can edit this. You can put the business name in. If you need to put the MCC code in here, you have the ability to do that here as well. You can put the contact, phone, email, years in business, source type. This prospect stage here, this is where you can say, I quoted them, I closed them, I didn't close them, they're contacted. And then here, down here in the proposal information, you can actually put your contact information, the agent's name, the phone number, the email, and you can hit save there. Any task that you have, with this, they say, hey, can you come back to me in a week? I got a busy day going on. And you actually can put a task in here saying, I'm going to add a task. I need to go revisit them in a week, see if they made a decision. You can actually do that here within the task. And then the note section here is anything you want to put in the notes to help you actually, better on getting the deal closed. That gives you the ability to put any notes right there.
Khalil, let me throw this question out there to you. As far as content, if I'm a sales agent and I'm using this prospect tool and I generated a proposal for my merchant and I'm tracking my notes in here, how long does the system actually hold on to that information? Does it kick it out after 90 days, or does it stay there indefinitely until the agent actually makes a decision to do whatever they want with that information?
So yeah, this information will stay in here indefinitely until you or the agent decides to get rid of it. So if you have, you can have statements in here from 3 years ago if you really wanted to. If you don't delete it within the system or within your portal, it'll always be there. But if you want to delete it out of the system, when you delete it, it is completely gone. And the only way that you can see anything within that statement again is by re-uploading it and putting it on that same program that you had it on.
I would say probably my favorite feature with technology. Does it have a prompt that says, "Are you sure you want to delete it?"
Let me see here. Let's actually see. I've never been asked that. So if we go in here and delete this,
The only reason I ask is because I am famous for going, I'm going to delete it, but then I don't get the prompt. And sometimes I really like that prompt because it's like, I don't know, do I really? And then, man, oh man, I regret it later on. I'm like, oh gosh, I wish I would have kind of gave me a warning.
let me hit delete here. It actually isn't doing anything. So this must be a bug in the system because I believe there is something that usually say, are you sure you want to delete this?
Yeah.
Then you can delete it and you go ahead and it'll let you know like, hey, once you delete this out the system, you can't see anything about that statement again unless you re-upload it. But for some reason, it's not letting me delete it. It's like, I know you're on call and I'm not
No,
going to let you delete this right now.
No, I think it's actually a Zoom thing too, because I've had that happen to me before where I try to show something live in a web browser and Zoom is kind of like, well, not today, friend. And I go, oh, okay, whatever. But for the most part, just as a reminder to everybody, all the information that you put in, that's yours. Hold on to it indefinitely. If you decide you want to move on, get rid of that information, you delete it, gone for good, then you're going to have to start from scratch all over again. Friends, we got a couple of minutes left. I'm begging, I'm pleading, come on. Somebody has got to have a question before we wrap up this session today. Throwing it back to you, audience, what do you have? Well, we've got our panelist, Khalil Bell, on the call with us.
God, I know Khalil talked about this at the beginning of the call, and maybe some people joined late, but Khalil, can you go over once again the cutoff times and if there's not human interaction required, how fast typically the statement analysis gets turned around?
Yeah, so when you upload a statement within our system, two things are either going to happen within the system. It's either going to be fully automated or go to human review. Our average turnaround for full automation is around 3 to 15 seconds.
That's
a
amazing.
lot of people can't believe that, but when they see in the system, when they upload a statement and it's like, oh, this has been fully analyzed, 10 seconds later, they're like, oh man, he wasn't kidding. But if it goes to human review, our average turnaround time is within 2 to 5 minutes. Now human review, if you get, the magic number or the magic time is 4 p.m. Eastern. And you get any statements in before 4 p.m. Eastern, you'll get them back same day. Anything after 4 p.m. Eastern will be done in priority for the next business morning. Now, that is not including the full automated statement. So if you put a statement in the system that's fully automated, you can put one in at 6 p.m. or at 8 p.m. We're not going to know if it's going to be fully automated until you upload it within the system. But full automation statements will be back within that 3 to 15-second range,
And
no matter what time it is.
can you give us an idea of what would continuous full automation and what might throw it into human review?
Yeah, so for instance, if there's a scan that is a little crooked, our AI will read it, but then it'll also, put some line items in some different places. So it might be a row up or a row down. And typically what that'll do is it'll target our humans to look at it to make sure everything is correct, line item wise. So we go in, do the data entry, make sure the line items are correct to where they need to be. Another reason is, blurred scans. So if a scan's a little blurred, and our AI can't fully read it, it'll go to a human eye to just make sure everything is accurate. Believe it or not, people don't put in merchant statements sometimes, and they believe it's a merchant statement. So when they put it in, it'll spit straight to humans at that point saying, can you read over this statement? Our humans will actually tell you that, hey, this isn't a processing statement. Please upload a processing statement for a full analysis. But other than that, yeah, that's the only other thing. Yeah, those are the only things that'll really trigger it. Or if there's some new statements that come out that our AI hasn't seen yet, because we do try to build parsers for everything and make sure everything is up to date. I know Braintree was going to, human review. We're in the process of building a parser for that, so that can be fully automated. But these new statements that are coming out, our AI hasn't seen it yet, so it'll go to humans just to make sure that we get everything accurate for you guys.
So spending a few seconds more when you're scanning can save you a lot more time once it's submitted. And again, you mentioned this the other day, right? A missing page out of the statement can throw a wrench in it too.
Yep. So if you got a 7-page statement and you upload 5 of those 7 pages, and the interchange table was on page 3, and we kind of need that to give you a 100% accurate analysis, our analyst will say, hey, there's some missing pages in the statement. It'll reject the statement and it'll say, hey, there's some pages missing. Please re-upload the statement with all of the pages so we can give you an accurate analysis.
And Khalil, I'm actually going to throw a question at you that was put into the chat, and this came from one of our team members over in the Tempe office. Look at that. You've got the love, you got the trust. Everybody's having a great time with you. So her question goes directly to you, Khalil. Says, hey, Khalil, is there a feature that you like that you haven't gone over yet?
That's a good question. I mean, every feature I've gone over, I like, because of the simple fact that it's, very, very, time consuming, it's going to save you guys a lot of time in the process of actually putting these statements within the system. But I pretty much covered every feature within the system of ISOAmp. So is there anything that I like better than I don't? I like the fact that, we can get these statements done within 3 to 15 seconds for you guys. I actually had a client one time. I was actually doing a demo, and I told him that, hey, yeah, our statements are, we get them in, we'll get them back to you within 3 to 15 seconds if it's fully automated. But if it goes to human review, 2 to 5 minutes. His statement actually went to human review, and he actually put a timer on his phone. So he timed it, and I'm going over everything else with him. And then I go back into the statement upload summary, and I said, hey, your statement's done. And he was like, man, that was 1 minute and 49 seconds. And I was like, I told you. Told you. So, yeah, I mean, I've pretty much gone over every feature of ISOAmp that I can think of that, would be beneficial for you guys. So.
All right. And I see that we are at the top of the hour. So for the most part, to you, the audience, we love seeing you on Toolbox Tuesday. Quick recap. This is quite possibly one of the most powerful tools that's going to help you when you're out in the field, the ability to analyze statements and identify savings, and you have the ability to use it as a CRM, and you can also create proposals without an actual statement in hand. With that said, to all of you, thank you once again for joining us for Toolbox Tuesday, but we cannot wrap up until we say thank you to our guest panelists who joined us here today, who helped us to put together today's session. Khalil Bell. Khalil, giving you some love, my brother. Thank you very much for everything that you've done. We've enjoyed working with you, my friend.
Absolutely.
And Scott, if you would tell everybody, remind them we have a special follow-on Toolbox Tuesday next week, 2 in a row.
We do.
Horns in a row.
2
next week.
We do, absolutely. So, ladies and gentlemen, as I mentioned, there are 5 Tuesdays in the month of July, and you do have a bonus Toolbox Tuesday coming up next week on July 29th, where our topic will be the Clover App Marketplace. Guest panelist is going to be John Marshall, who is going to give you his top picks And we're also going to pull back the curtain on your brand spanking new Clover Visual Reference Guide. You don't want to miss it. You don't see it on your calendar, reach out to us, sales@paycompass.com. More than happy to get you taken care of. One more time, round of applause, some love for Khalil Bell. Khalil, domo arigato, my friend. We really appreciate the fact that you made the time, you helped us out. We enjoyed putting this together with you, my friend.
Absolutely. It was a pleasure. It was a pleasure. And if you guys have any other questions, don't hesitate to reach out to me. I pretty much answer emails all hours of the evening, all day, even on the weekends sometimes when I'm feeling froggy and up to it. So yeah, don't hesitate to reach out. You can either reach out to me at khalil@getisoamp.com, or you can reach out to support@getisoamp.com. Melinda from our team, she's very, very great as well. So yeah, if you guys have anything, just let me know.
I can confirm that he answers emails at all hours of the day because I tested him on that.